Hey, I'm so glad you were able to make it. I actually have some tea brewing on the stove, so come on in and we'll talk. Come on. You're sighing. You can't tippy tap around. You can go up, you can lay down over there, you can go up downstairs. What do you think? Huh? You don't know. It's been a weird week, huh? There we go. This is the hard part. The middle is messy. We are going to talk about that today. This is a different type of video today where we are just going to sit down and we are going to chat because it's been a long week. It's been a really long week and this is what I had in me. So I appreciate you guys bearing with me. One, it's summer. On top of my intolerance for the weather, it's a pressing season. It's a middle season. And I'm working through something with my sweet little Obi. This week, I'm not ready to share it yet. I most likely will. I'm just not ready to share it yet. So I'm in the trenches with him with something and I'm running on very little sleep. But I actually thought that this topic was highly appropriate to sit down and have a talk about today. I think that it's relatable that a lot of us, or probably all of us, at different times of life have middle seasons, and the middle seasons of things are the hardest. And they can be very messy. They can be incredible and beautiful. And I actually think that they're the part of the process that does the most good. But at the moment, it doesn't always feel that way. However, in my experience, in my life, I have come to a place where I have come into a different relationship with the middle, with the hard part, and it's changed everything. So I want to talk to you about that. It's kind of like if you're running any sort of a race. When you first start, you're excited, you're hopeful, the wind is under your wings. When you get towards the end and you see the finish line in front of you, even though you're exhausted, you can see the finish line. So that hope puts the wind back under your wings and you're able to keep going. But that middle part where you kind of hit a wall and you don't really know what's going on, you're not really sure how much farther the finish line is, you can't really see anything in front of you, all you see is road and dust. That is the part that can be very messy. That is the part that is hard, but that is also the part where the pressing of the oil happens mostly. So you might have this vision that God puts on your spirit. You might have this godly desire. And then there's the moment of harvest where the tree bears the fruit and you can pick the fruit and you can enjoy it. But what happens in that season in the middle when you have to tend the tree and you have to make sure it's watered and you don't see the fruit yet, but you are acting in faith by taking care of the tree, by watering it and fertilizing it and pruning it and doing all the things. You're acting in faith because you believe that the tree is going to bear fruit. And sometimes you're fighting off all kinds of pest pressure and the weather's hot and you're out there and you're doing the thing. And that's the part where you have to dig in and be faithful to believe that the fruit is coming, because without that middle part, it's very hard to get to the fruitful part, because if you're not tending the messy middle, you have a lot less chance of seeing an abundance of a fruit harvest. When you are in the trenches, it can feel like it's never going to end. There is always some sort of a conclusion to everything, but sometimes it feels like it's never going to end. This is how I have switched a little bit of my relationship with the messy middle, and it's really changed everything. I have come to a place where, generally speaking, okay, definitely not perfect, but generally speaking, I can remain generally very calm in the trenches. And this is coming from someone that had a panic disorder. Severe anxiety attacks to the point where I would almost look like I was convulsing. I would shake so hard. An example of this, just again, I'm not going to share at this very second what I'm going through with Obi, my sweet little angel. But when I was at the beginning of this process with him, I started to have this moment where I could feel the anxiety creeping up. I could feel the fear of the unknown creeping up. And now those of you who are maybe new here, I was never able to have biological children. So I'm just one of those crazy women. I'm a dog mama. I love children, but I'm a dog mama. And I love nurturing all of the animals that God has given me. It does fill a part of my heart, but I'm a nurturing person, so I enjoy that. But I had this moment in the evening where I started to feel those feelings creeping up in the messy middle where I didn't know how things were going to end. I just knew that I was in this process and I was committed to it. And I just suddenly cried out to God and I said, I release the outcome. I release all expectations about the outcome. I just need wisdom right this very moment, revelation right this very moment, peace that surpasses understanding right this very moment to handle what's right in front of me, the step that is right in front of me. And I am giving his life into your hands. I am releasing it. And my brain switched into this gratitude mode, and I thought, I am so grateful for every day, every moment that you've given me with him, everything he's taught me, all of the comfort, all of the laughs, all of the little lessons. I am so grateful that you chose me to steward his little life, and I am super committed to being a willing vessel to do whatever you want me to do in the middle part. And I just need your comfort, your peace, your revelation, your wisdom, your spirit to guide me, because I do not want to be dominated by my flesh here and my emotions, because I don't trust them. I want to be dominated by the Spirit. And I'm giving him to you. And the second I let that go, the second I released his life, I released the outcome, truly giving it to you. And I felt this relief and this release inside my body. And when I tell you, I woke up the next day and there was a palpable difference in this house. My other dog, Zion, he had been just all crazed with the whole situation going on and all anxious. He was peaceful and calm and helpful. Obi was so much calmer, and I could tell he was more comfortable. I truly felt the peace that surpasses all understanding. And I was like, this is incredible. You could palpably feel the house more peaceful. We have our part, and then there's the part that we have to, for the sake of peace, for the sake of the best outcome possible, whatever that is, because however all of these things, whether it's my business ventures, whether it's my healing journey, whether it's the stuff with my animals, whether it's my marriage, whatever that outcome is, I'm only responsible for being prepared for the journey, and I'm responsible for how I conduct myself in the middle and how I listen and press into God in the middle. But no matter how it ends, God is still thoroughly God, and every single thing that he has declared and promised in his word is still true. So whatever the outcome looks like, he still has an understanding that's far superior to mine. He is still able to do abundantly and exceedingly more than I could ever think or ask for. He is still able to supply all of my needs according to his glorious riches in Christ Jesus. He still is the God who leads me beside still waters, who rests me in the green pastures. He's still the God where I will lack no good thing. I have to be a prepared vessel whenever he sets me off on a path. So in our daily life, becoming a prepared vessel for whatever path God's going to set us out on, whether that's in an interaction with someone, or a revelation he gives us, or a word he gives us, or a path he sets us on, or a business venture he sets us to, or caring for someone, or whatever it is, we have to become a prepared vessel in our daily life, which means knowing the word of God for real. I know, like, people say this and you hear it 100 times, but I am really, really serious, because when I get into this messy middle now, I just verbally out loud declare the word that I have memorized and planted in my heart over these situations over and over and over again until it becomes real. It is so powerful, and I think we forget that because we hear it. We hear, you need to pray, you need to be in your word, you need to know the word, you need to be asking for revelation and wisdom. And you hear it so many times, you go, yeah. It is power. And the weapons of our warfare, these battles that we fight in our daily life, they are not carnal. They are not of the flesh. We are battling spiritual powers and authorities that are behind the things that we see in the physical. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but they are mighty in God for the pulling down of strongholds. So you need to be a prepared vessel. That means taking care of your body so that you are as strengthened as you can be in this season of life. That means taking your thoughts captive so that your mind is in a place to be set out on the path that God is going to have you. That means not trusting your emotions, but having dominion over them. Being in the word so that it gets planted in your heart so that when the moment comes when it's hard and you're in the trenches and you're in the messy middle and you're hitting the wall and you feel like you can't take another step in the race, in the marathon, you can use that to pull strength from somewhere that is not you. The amount of times that I have said in processes in the middle, cover my weakness with your strength. I want to boast all the more in my weaknesses so that the power of Christ may rest upon me. And all of my time that I spent in the new age, all of the things that you grab for off of the shelf are so temporary. And it lasts for this fleeting moment, and then it's just like you need the next hit and the next hit. And so you need to be this prepared vessel. That's number one, our part to take accountability for. We need to be, it's like boot camp, battle ready. We need to be battle ready. So the preparation phase is ours. We need to be doing that on a daily basis so that when we're called to something, we are not ill prepared. There is oil in the lamp, okay? We are not ill prepared soldiers, out of shape and unfit for battle. And then the vision part, whatever God brings us to, that's his part, okay? And now the middle part, where the oil is pressed, God will do the pressing, God will do the refining, God will do the bringing forth as gold, God will do all those things. But in order for him to be able to do what he does, we have to do our part in the middle, which means being a willing vessel. God is looking for willing vessels. Being someone who calls on him in the midst of that, who's not relying on their flesh, their thoughts, and their emotions, but is calling on the Spirit of God in the pressing. That is turning to him before you're turning to other comfort measures. And it doesn't mean all those comfort measures are bad. It just means you're turning to him first. He's at the front line of whatever battle you're going into. It is for us to endure and commit and be diligent people in whatever we're walking through. The diligence is on me. And then he can do his work. If I'm not doing the diligence, how is he supposed to do the pressing? Because you can come out of the messy middle way stronger, way better, way more prepared for the next wonderful thing that God has for you, or you can come out of it just weaker and delirious and squished by the enemy. And then the outcome, when we truly give it to God, the outcome is his. It has to be, because if we're constantly trying to control the outcome, it just makes the middle even messier. It makes it more anxiety inducing. And that's how we find peace, is when we can say, whatever comes, you are still God. And even if I don't understand how this ends, though I am believing that what's coming, it's not based on how I feel or what I think is going to happen or what's happened to other people. I am believing that whatever it is, it's going to be for good. because I believe that you're faithful. You're faithful to perform your word. You're a good father who gives good things to his children. So nothing in your word ceases to be true because I don't understand something. I know my pea brain is nothing compared to an almighty creator who breathes and things come into being. So that's my talk today on the middle, because I'm in the middle in multiple areas of my life. Like, we're in the trenches, but I can see God doing a thing that I'm not capable of doing. I can see him doing it. It's like a faint little flicker of light, and I can see he's doing it. And I know that I just need to be a willing, diligent vessel, act in wisdom, and work. Put my hands to the plow. That is my job. To be a prepared vessel for the next thing he has for me, that is my job. So that was our tea chat. And I hope that encouraged someone today, because I needed to be reminded of that. But I want to thank you guys so much, as always, for choosing to come back here to our little house on the mountain. If you want any information, you want to look at my blog, you want to look at my courses or my products, check out www.ourlittlehouseonthemountain.com. All the links will be in the description box and pinned in the comments below. If you're interested in my book, Becoming God's Daughter, Living in Identity, Healing, Daughterhood, and Calling, that is available. And I have another project coming out, I believe, September 1st. So check back for that. I appreciate all you so much. You have just been the greatest community, and I love you. So, Lord willing, I will see each and every one of you beautiful and precious souls right here on the next one. Bye, friends.